All right, thank you. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Will you please state your name?
Yes, it's Amber Laura Hurd.
And what is your address?
I live in Yucca Valley, California.
And how old are you, Amber?
I am 36. I just celebrated.
Do you have a daughter?
I do. She also celebrated her birthday recently. She's 1.
Okay.
I am an actor, mostly.
Now, why are you here?
I am here because my ex-husband is suing me for an op-ed I wrote.
And how do you feel about that?
I struggle to have the words. I struggle to find the words to describe how painful this is. This is horrible for me to sit here for weeks and relive everything. This is the most painful and difficult thing I've ever gone through. Shortly after this trip, so we took this trip to promote his movie. I went with him. We got in an argument in the hotel room, and I said, I don't remember what I said to him, but I said something snotty to him that provoked him. It provoked him. And when I walked into the hallway, he grabbed me by the arm and slammed me up against the hallway wall, and I kind of struggled with him, tried to push him off of me, and I managed to get out of his grasp enough to take a few steps, and I kind of curved around and went into the closet. And by the time I made it into the closet, he had me by the hair and wrestled me down to the floor. I mean, it felt to me like I didn't even have a fair shot because I wasn't facing him or looking at him. I was walking away from him. Or else, you know, I would have at this point even I would have tried to defend myself more, but I didn't. I kind of felt like it didn't see it coming. And he just wrestled me down to the ground, and I remember he was screaming at me. I mean, like really screaming loud. Struggle with him. And I look at him and he's still got his glasses on. I just remember looking at him and thinking that was so... I mean, he just looked like he hadn't been through anything, you know? He still had his glasses on, sunglasses. And he was screaming at me that he hated me. That it was over. He didn't want to marry me. He was disgusted. He was disgusted. He made this mistake. It was a big mistake. And everyone hated me. And I remember crying. On the floor. Just, more than anything, I was heartbroken. I thought maybe he was serious. I thought maybe, God, he doesn't love me. Maybe he really feels this way. It broke my heart. Broke my heart. I wanted to marry him so bad. I wanted to this is the man I loved, you know. Yes, it was awful at times, but I loved him and what he was
Objection, Your
saying.
Honor, non-responsive.
At some point, I don't know how much time had passed, he was sitting at the piano in the living room of the hotel room that we had. I know it may be hard to understand. It's hard for me to hear myself say, but I felt... Of course I was mad, and felt it was horrible what he'd done. But on the other hand, I wanted us to be okay.
Stop the cap.
Of all times, to have a backless dress. And I was just looking at I was looking at pictures of us on the red carpet. It was surreal because I was checking for bruises and making sure that nothing, like there would be no marks on me. And it's embarrassing. I know it's hard to... I'm sure it's hard to...
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he'd sustained an injury on one of his
Well,
fingers.
objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Oh,
Next question.
okay, he said he sustained an injury to his finger,
Yes,
but you don't know what caused the injury to his finger.
one of
correct?
his fingers.
I knew I knew it was wrong, and I knew that I had to leave him. And that's what broke my heart. Because I didn't want to leave him. I thought if I got up out of that room, I'd leave the best thing that ever happened to me. And I wish I could sit here and say I stood up and I walked out of that house and I drew a line and I stood up for myself. But I was just looking at the dirty carpet trying to will myself to get up. I thought I put the monster away, and I've done it before, it's done. But on his knees. And I didn't have words, I didn't know what to say. I just remember thinking that it was just, he was crying. I got up in my car, I walked to the car. I didn't say anything, I made a point to not say, oh, it's okay, or anything like that. I just didn't say anything. I went to the car, I sat in my car, and I felt like I sat there forever. I didn't want to turn the key. I just leaned my head up against the window, and I remember just seeing my breath on the windshield, you know, on the glass of the window of the door. Just seeing my breath and trying to will myself to have the strength to know what I should do in this moment, because I was heartbroken. And I sat there for a long time, and I eventually turned the key and drove home.